everyone. Thank you, Ash. My name's Abby. I work on the CoSec team here. So I'm going to be showing you our software today. I'm just going to share my screen. So hopefully now you can all see the screen. So this is our CoSec software. So a little bit about what I want to show you today is some of our top features, our new features, and just talk about what the purpose is of having a tool like this. Because really, in essence, it's all about saving time. There's a ton of pre-populated forms, automated tools. There's advanced features for people who want to do things. For example, you can do multiple transactions and appointments in one company in one quick step. So we've got our new quick step tool. We've got advanced tools such as our CS01 checklist, which can be automatically emailed out of this software to your clients for approval for CS01s. We've got a new feature as well this year called our multi-filing company center. So that means that if you've got, say, a director who's changed their address and they are a director at 5 companies and a PSC at 4, you can actually then go and file all of those pre-populated forms across all those companies in one go. So we've got some really exciting new advanced features. We've obviously got all of your standard basic CoSec features as well. And what I'm hoping that you will get from the end of this is that it's all to do with saving you time so that you don't have to spend so much time doing, laborious CoSec tasks, and you can spend more time doing the important tasks that you need to do. So this is what you see when you first log in. This is the action station. So just so you know, if you were to come on board with us, we give you something called an upload spreadsheet. You give us all of your company reg numbers and your company auth codes. You can also allocate companies to staff members at that point as well and add in extra information. What we do then is we upload all that information from Companies House, and we bring in everything that was on the last CS01. So when you first log in, you've got all your current officers, current share details, all the details about the companies, and it's all ready to go on your software. After that initial upload, we're then syncing dates with Companies House, so you can't get a date wrong. So when you first log on, you see this action station. At the top here, you'd have any strike-off notices. So the moment a strike-off notice goes into the London Gazette, it comes into our software. Underneath that, you'd have your confirmation statements. So it's telling you in very, very clear English, this is when the deadline is. Have you produced a client checklist? I'll show you these client checklists. They're amazing ways of getting the authority, really quick, professional, high standard ways of getting authority from your clients to file CS01. So whether you've done a checklist or not, if it's overdue, anything overdue is going to be in red. So it's going to really try and bring your attention to that. And you can actually just click these hyperlinks to get into those companies as well. Underneath that, you'd have items saved as pending. So we've actually got a really, really strong support team here. And we very much listen to what our clients need. So we have our own client suggestion meetings. Items saved as pending came out of the idea that people were saying it'd be really, really good. Say if I've got all this information, say, about a dividend distribution that I need to do, but I haven't had the green light yet from the client to actually go and do that. So actually what I want to do is get all the information onto the software, save it as pending, so that if my client then calls me up 5:30 on a Friday and says, right, I'm ready to go with that dividend distribution, I then don't have to spend my evening inputting information. I've got it all there. I just untick it as pending and it's good to go. So any items saved as pending are going to be under there. What we're also, so obviously this is a demo account, it's all fake information. Depending on how many clients you guys bring on board, this is going to be a bit fuller. This one at the moment is looking back 60 days and looking forward 60 days. That can be looking back and forward 7 days. It's always going to show you an amount that's easy for you to take in, if you know what I mean. And you can press show more, show less as well. So under items saved as pending, you have things like other events, they're called, which is like if you've changed the address of a company and you haven't filed the AD01 yet, for example. And then at the bottom, so obviously we are CoSec software here at the Capium CoSec. We don't do accounts in this module, but we are syncing the dates with Companies House and they give us your account deadlines. So we then give those back to you as a bit of a bonus. This is really amazing because it's going to tell you in very clear English exactly what's going on. You've got a late filing penalty from £750 to £1,500. So those filing penalties can go up to £1,500 if you miss them. and it's going to tell you exactly, how long you've got left to the next filing penalty. So actually, just listening to those, you pretty much paid for your subscription if you don't miss a couple of filing penalties. So that is a really, really useful bonus to have. Not only does it show here, but you can also have that come up in your reminder emails as well, which I'll show you. You'll also know, so a lot of our software is built on these tables, which has information in the tables, buttons on the top of the tables. You can also filter, so the filter bars are really useful. If you guys, you don't have to use them. So if everyone who's on the software that does CoSec does all of the companies, you might not need to use them. But if you've got one person that looks after 30, another person that looks after 50, for example, you can actually allocate those staff members to companies, and then you can just go and view either what you need to do. These are sticky filters. So if I go and look at the deadlines, it's just showing me the deadlines for Adrian's companies. Or I can, perhaps I'm Abby and Adrian is a partner and I just need to view everything coming up for Adrian. And you just go back to show all. So the filters can work really well, and you don't have to use them. It completely depends how your office is set up. So the way I go through these sort of demonstrations is I go through tab by tab. My office is everything to do with your organization. Select all is mainly reports. We also have our formations under there. Then I'll show you a bit about how we make changes on companies, how that then triggers forms to file, and then have a look at some documents with that as well. So in my office, you've got the action station. This is kind of, it's going a little bit slow there. Where is my action station is looking around the software. It's looking at company's house, seeing if you've missed anything. Workflow is where you can add your own jobs. And this is really useful because you can say, right, I need to appoint a director. This is just it there. Press next. I'm going to say I'm waiting on the client for information. I am waiting on the date of birth, for example, and I want that back tomorrow because my deadline for this is going to be next Wednesday. And actually, I'm just going to allocate that to a staff member as well. So that's really, really useful in that rather than have one person have something written on a Post-it note on their desk on one side of the office, someone has something on their phone notes and another side, you can just get all of that into the software. So that's workflow. That will also start appearing on your action station as well. Pending events is where you can access all your events. Email is really, really exciting. So as I mentioned, we've got a checklist for our CS01s, and a new feature as of last year is you can have the software email those checklists out to your clients. I'm going to show you that in the CS01 section. It deserves its own moment, if you will. So you've got settings, staff. So you can have as many users as you want on this software. You do not pay for the amount of users you have. And each user can kind of set this up to how it works for them. So say I'm Clement here. I can come in here and I can scroll down and I can say, right, email reminder options. Perhaps I'm logging on every day. I don't want to get the emails, or maybe I want to get the emails, the reminder emails for all companies, or perhaps I just want the emails for the clients that I'm allocated to. Again, if you've got a partner on here and they just want to put their PA on here as view only access, and they just want them on here just to receive the emails, your reminder emails, for example. So I'm Adrian, I'm a partner. I've got a PA who I want to get to receive all the reminder emails to do with my companies. So you can very much add users to how you work. I often see a lot of people adding their finance teams in view only access, for example. So you've got varying different access levels. Just to let you know, only level 6 users can delete companies, which is really useful. I would only ever suggest having 1 or 2 people as level 6. Everyone else can, level 5 is kind of the default, which everyone goes for. But you can have varying different access rights, as I mentioned. You don't pay for archived companies on this software. So we would always actually say, don't delete companies, actually just archive them, because then you access all their registers later. We keep activity logs of everything you do on a company. So it's really useful if that company comes back. So back to reminder emails, you've got these varying options. You can match on sort of different references as well. And you can also say, what do you want to be prompted for in these email reminders? So do you want confirmation statements, accounts filing? You can tick as many of these as useful as you. With these reminder emails, it's one email with everything in that you need to do. If you signed up to Company's House emails, you would get one email per event, per company. It really does spam up your inbox. So this is just one email with everything in. very much set it up to how that works for you. Again, with staff, you've got things like you can add staff company allocation, as I mentioned, and we keep staff activity reports as well. So we time stamp and date everything everyone does on the software, which is really useful as well. We've got this little sort of bonus thing as well with your registered office list. So obviously you can have it on paper, but this is a bit of a cherry on the cake feature. We have this QR code, and basically what that does is all of the companies that are registered at your address, it will be a list. So anyone who puts their phone towards that will get an online list. You don't have to print this off every single time a client comes or leaves. It will always be up to date with what's on the software. So you can print it off once, laminate it, stick it in a window, whatever you want to do. So that's a bit of a bonus feature if you do use that. And then finally, under My Office with the help page, we have got a number of manuals here. We'll just let that load. Sorry if my Wi-Fi is going a little slower today. We've got a number of manuals here. So you can either just kind of have a look at what it is you need to do. We also have our own dedicated support team just for CoSec. So this is our phone number. We're very quick to pick up the phones, really, really strong support, and also an email address that comes directly through to come for support. Whenever there's new things going on, so recently the ECCTA update came in, we put on a manual here that told people what to do about a month in advance so that they could actually start preparing. So we've got things on this software like, if we jump back here under settings, you can actually add in your own registered email address. If you added in your own registered email address here, test@test.com, when you're working on each company, if you want that company to use your email address as their registered email address, then you can just use the drop down. So we've got ways of sort of making things be a lot easier for you guys. Everything is about how can we cut out steps that you guys would normally have to do and just make all of the processes a lot faster. So that's kind of everything under My Office. I'm going to now quickly show you some of our reports. So all of our traditional reports are under here. You can print and export these all to Excel. You've got all your sort of deadlines. CH is always company's house. All your companies live, archived, dissolved, dormant, people, dates. So you can sort via various dates and you can print and export. You can also filter these using the filter bars as well. So all your traditional reports, just so you know, we release about 2 big features a year. So last year we released our email checklist to their clients with the online portal. And we also released something called Quick Steps. This year we've done the multi-filing company. We're also doing multi-filing center. We're also doing a bit of a redesign as well. And one of the things we hope for early next year is our report generator. So we have all of these traditional reports. But what we will have next year is a report generator where you basically will get to build your own reports with data that's on the software. Under here as well, we've got formation. So formation sort of falls under select all because it does become this really good report. I'm just going to, just noticed my charger is not in my computer, which is not very good. Let me just pop that in. There we go. So formation. So you never pay for any new features on this software. You guys will fit within a price band of how many companies you've got. So you never pay for new features. We do have 2 things on this software that are actually a service. So one of those is our formations and one of those is our legal pack service, which I'll show you shortly. So for formations, we are partnered with a company called FCLS. We've been partnered with them for about 17 years or so. And this is them, and they are basically corporate law specialists, and they're also a third-party formation agent. So anyone that uses formation agents usually would be kind of used to paying these prices. Obviously, these have gone up a little bit since May the 1st, when Companies House kindly upped a lot of the prices for formations and filing. So this is what people would usually be used to see when they're dealing with third-party formation agents. In our software, it's heavily discounted. So it starts at £80 for limited. We've got flats, PLCs, rent to managers, charities, etc. You can put in the proposed name, check the availability, second choice, third choice, tick for your lawful purpose statement here. You add in your share types, add in your people. You can use the drop downs to sort of make things fill out a little bit faster. Use this, so I put that in earlier, the registered email address. With SIP codes, you can actually just start typing. We've got articles, all your preemption rights. We've got 400 different types of objects here. Keep going down. We've got registers, seals. We've got, lever presses. You can have an urgent same-day formation. So what will happen then is this goes through to FCLS. You get given a formations agent. So it's a human being doing this. This is why it's a service. They're forming the company for you. They can register HMRC. They can do the first board minutes. They can suggest and set up business accounts if you wish. Once it's been formed, they then put everything for you into your cloud library, so certificate of incorporation, any articles, board minutes, etc., all go into the cloud library, and you get emailed everything as well. And then once they formed it, they put that company into the software for you so that it's ready to service. So those are our formations. As I say, completely optional. You don't have to use it. If you don't want to, you would just form the company the normal way you do. And once it's formed, you come to company, add a company, and you would just download from Company's House. You'd put in the company number and the filing code, and it would bring that information in. So it's an optional service, really popular because it is highly discounted. I think it's £60 for incorporation now. So it's only a little bit more money to get that whole thing done for you, £20 or something. And most people just give that back to the client anyway. So really popular. Also under here, we've got some other really great reports that I'm going to show you when I show you, for example, dividends. So let's start working on. So the two most important pages when you're in a company, actions page, any sort of changes that you need to do in a company, that's where you're going to be going. So if I go to the details page, the details, I kind of see it as all of the back of house admin about a company. So you've got the main details, name, company number, key dates, accounts dates, confirmation statement dates, other dates. You can add in other dates so that they will roll on each year if you want to be reminded about them. Registered offices here, document locations, SIT codes, etc. all in your details page. And then your connections page is all of your people, your shares. So you've got directors, secretaries, current shareholders, allotments, transfers, PSC register, fully automated PSC register. It figures out all your PSCs for you. You've got your dividend distributions, etc. So I'm going to show you how these two pages work. So we'll start on the details page. So in the details pages, you'll start to see that there are date of changes everywhere. Any change that you make at Company's House has a date. So we use the dates as triggers. So you can actually make mistakes. So say I'm like, oh, actually, that shouldn't say Hackney House there. I'm just going to get rid of that. Now, I'm not going to put a date of change in. I'm just going to say, oh, that was actually a mistake I put in. I'm just going to save it. You're allowed to make mistakes on this software, and it won't pre-populate a form. So if I go to my filing center now, there's not going to be anything in there to do with AD01 because I've changed that. It's just let me correct that mistake. But if I go back to the details page and I go, actually, they've just moved down the road, and they did that today. And now I press save. That date of change, fix it later, in my filing center, AD01 registered office, change of registered office has been pre-populated, put into the filing center for me. It's telling me exactly what I'm missing and why it would be rejected. So I'm missing the appropriate registered office statement. I'll just pop there. There it is. I'll just tick that there. Appropriate address confirmation. Missing RO address premise. So I'm missing something else here as well. 1 second. There we go. I put that in the wrong line. And I'll press save. So it's just telling me exactly why it would be rejected if I sent it through like that. Now I've corrected it, change the registered office, ready to go. I can tick that. I can actually just preview that form first if I want, and I can e-file it straight through the software. So that's pre-populated the form for me. I can also download it encrypted, meaning I can give it a password for my clients to open it with, which we'd obviously encourage. And you can actually just file it electronically exactly through there. Let's have a look again how that details page works. So this time I'll come here and I will change the name. So I'll say, right, this is what the name used to be called. Now it's just going to be called ABC Accountancy Limited. And I'm going to change the name today. And I'm going to do it through an NM01. And I'm going to press save. So now, if I go to my filing center, I've got the NMO1 ready to go, and there's my ADO1. One final thing, we'll just go back into the details page and we will change the accounting reference date. So we'll say it used to be November the 9th. Now it's going to be November 9th of May. Change that today. Press save. So those date of changes are just doing everything. And now it's put me back into the filing center. I've got the NMO1, ADO1, and the AO1 accounts referencing check all pre-populated, ready to go. I could actually, if I'm happy, I could just submit them all at once. So really quick changes that then pre-populate all those forms out for you, rather than you having to spend all that time filling them out, all done in a few quick clicks. And ready to go to file at Companies House. So it figures out what it is you need to file, puts it in the filing center. So let's also now have a look at the connections page. That works slightly different. The details page is very heavily based on dates and dates of changes. In here, we've got, these tables. On the top of the tables, you can add a director, add a secretary, add director's interests, add an allotment. So you add on the top of the tables, and actually then you edit at the side. So if you need to edit the allotments, you would edit them here. If you need to edit an appointment, so let's have a go at this. We'll say, right, Rosie here, I'm going to actually say she's resigned now, and she resigned today. And I'm going to say that the minutes happened when she resigned as well, and I'm going to press save. So now I've just resigned Rosie, and if I jump back to my filing center, TMO1, resign a director form has been pre-populated and put in the filing center for me. So if I go back to my connections page, I'm going to say add a secretary, and I'm going to add Peter here, is appointed today. The minutes are here, and I'm going to press save. And now I've got Peter Tanner. And if I jump back to my filing center, these are called breadcrumbs. They just remember where you've been recently, so you can jump back quickly. So now I've got my APO3 appoint a secretary has gone in. I could just go and tick and file all of those at once if I wanted to. Back to my connections page. So as I mentioned, we've got these current page. These are automated tables, and they're really useful, the two current tables, to be automated, because it just means that if you're doing a lot of stuff in a company, you can come back here and you can check that everything looks right. If everything looks right in your current tables, because it's automatically figuring out from what share allotments you've done, what transfers, then you know it's correct. So if I jump over to my share allotments, I've got a pending event here. So I don't know if you remember at the beginning, I said that we have these pending events where you can save things as pending. So this is an example of that. I've given a trust some shares here, but I've saved it as pending. So they're not turning up on our current shareholders. They're not turning up on the PSC register. If I actually come and I pick up this one that's pending, I'm actually going to edit the date to be today, July the 10th. And I'm going to untick that as pending now and press save. So now if I go over to my current shareholders, we've got 200 shares in issue and my trust is there. Now with a trust, our PSC register has changed quite a lot now. So before it was just showing Frederick with 75% or more. And then from that date that the trust, there's now the date is now in the change column for Frederick. So he no longer has 75% or more of the shares or the voting rights. It's also figured out that when a trust is a PSC, it's not the trust that's the PSC, but the trustee that becomes the PSC. Figured that out for me. So it's saying Rosie Capulet has 50 to 25% or more of the shares and voting rights as the trustee of that trust, and that Frederick now also has 25 to 50%. It's all of those calculations, and they, as you probably know, can get really complex. So if you've got a joint shareholder that's got one voting share, each person within that joint shareholding gets one vote. So as you're probably very aware, with voting rights, with non-voting rights, tons of shareholders, PSCs can be a real time, take up a lot of time. And it's something that a lot of people give to more senior roles because they can be very complex. Got a lot of, you're open to a lot of human error there, especially as they get, quite complex. So having this figure it out for you means that you can bring it down, put it on a more junior person's desk. You're going to have that confidence that it's a computer calculator figuring out your PSCs for you. So not only just by making this one trust a shareholder, if I now go to my filing center, we have now got the SH01 has gone in, the PSC01 for Rosie is a trustee share, PSC, and the PSC04 change for Frederick. For Frederick, as he used to have 75%, he's now gone down to 25 to 50. So all of that from just doing that has gone into my filing center, and I can go off and file all of those, and it's done that for me. So the connections page is really, really good. If you've got all these sorts of different forms, so I'll quickly show you with the filing center. Obviously, that's this. We've got the bulk filing center as well. So if I just show you, if I click all companies, if I have changed, say, if there's I'll show you this in a little while about how if you change the address of, say, one person who is connected to lots of companies, it would then show you could then file across multiple companies all at once. Also here you can check e-filing, so you can set up the email so that you get told if something is rejected, which I actually didn't show you, but under staff details, sorry, when I did the email reminder options, you also can choose your e-filing notifications. So whether you don't want emails, you're logging in every day, you want to just find out about the rejected submissions, or you want to know about all the submissions. So you can also get told about those e-filing notifications in your emails. But when you're in the software, you can go and check it under here. This is your check e-filing. This is a fake account, so obviously everything has failed. But this is where you can actually go and check the status. Under here, this is where you can access all your other forms. Your accounts, basic companies that have never traded. You've got all your various company forms, dissolve a company, registering a charge, satisfactions, name changes, all your director forms, all your share forms are here as well. PSC forms, including your make and withdraw a statement, and you've got the RPO4 correct previous filing form, which is an amazing form if you ever come across mistakes. So that's the connections in the details page, and we've kind of looked how that affects the filing center. One more thing in the connections page is your register of members, by the way, this is where you can pick up your share certificates, and you can download these encrypted as well. Again, under the connections page, dividends. So obviously dividends are not CoSec, but because we've got all this wonderful information about the shares, really easy to do your dividends through here. So you simply go add a distribution payment. Say you want to do distribution per share, year ending, date of payment, share classes, whether it's interim or final. To members registered on, that's whether you've got a client that says, I want to give everyone a dividend that's been a shareholder since May, for example. Distribution number, and then you can either save it as pending, so that's one of those pending events that I showed you earlier, or you'd go make voucher records. You can either print these as a batch, you can print these as singles, you can download them encrypted. You can also put your own templates in as well, which I didn't show you earlier, but basically under templates here, you can add your own logos, you can change sort of things. Adding your own logos is really useful when it comes to sending out the CS01 checklist, because it just means you can have a really nice, high quality branded document to your practice coming out to your clients, upping the standards of your practice. If you were to start doing your dividend distributions through here, and you can do waivers as well through here, you can also do your charges. It's the same thing. Hopefully you're kind of getting it. Add a mortgage or charge. The buttons are on the top of the table and you edit at the side. So you do your dividend distributions through here. You can then use this amazing report that is, again, another bonus that we've kind of added in. This report is really, really useful at the end of the tax year, and you can sort of print and export that. So that's, again, another bonus that we've sort of added in there. So that's the idea: is you do the change, you do in the details or the connections page, you go and either pick up the form to send to your client or you file it. And then under documents, we've got a number of minutes as well. So appoint a director minute, resign, secretary minutes, dividend minutes, share minutes. We've got allotment, share minutes, and transfers. We don't do minutes for complex share transactions like conversions, and that's because from a corporate responsibility point of view, we don't have things on this software that could undermine the legitimacy of a transaction. You shouldn't really be templating your complex share transaction minutes. So we do have a solution for that. We've got something here called Legal Pack Service. So towards the beginning of this webinar, I mentioned that we've got two things on this software that are services. formations. And again, FCLS do our legal pack service. So obviously not by their formations team, but by their corporate law specialists. You can come here. This is an amazing service. We call this our peace of mind service. So you come here and you can say, you know, I need to do a conversion of 100 A shares to 1,000 0.10 PV shares, for example. And you can put as much information in there as you want, give a number to call, who to ask for. They will then get this through. They'll log on. They'll look at everything you need to do first before they call you up. When they call you up, that's a no obligation phone call, and they just talk you through everything it is you need to do. It doesn't have to be a complex transaction. You could just need some sort of legal advice or whatever it is. It's a no obligation phone call. If you want them to actually go through and do all the work for you, they quote on a case-by-case basis, and it's the fraction of the cost of a solicitor. So again, a completely optional service. We've added it in there because it's actually really, really popular. You know, if you don't deal with complex share transactions a lot, all of a sudden you get one in and you don't want to shell out loads on a solicitor, come here, just even get the quote first. So we offer that instead. If you've actually already had the complex share transaction done for you, or you've got that expertise in-house and you've done it, to do a complex share transaction, we don't actually do it in the details in the connections page, but in the share center, just because it's not an everyday task. The connection details page is being used all the time. You go add a transaction, and it's basically just a walkthrough process, and you're adding in, you know, which shares are involved, ratio of new shares for old shares. It's walkthrough, you're inputting that information, and then you can access the forms. So I'm going to show you a little bit about minutes, but I'm going to show you in our brand new feature. So we have got something called Quick Steps. Quick Steps is amazing if you need to do loads of stuff in a company at once. So Quick Steps, I'm going to come in, this is where I make my demo account quite messy. I'm going to appoint a director today. Maybe I'm going to appoint another director. Do you have already report? Nope, that's a corporate director today. Resign a director. I'll do that today. I'm going to allot some shares. So I'll say 100 more shares today. I won't keep going just because it does get quite boring, but I can add another one if I want. I'm going to add a share transfer. So from Frederick to my trust of 100 shares today. And then I'm going to do a distribution as well, a dividend distribution, just to show you dividend per share. And I'm going to go. So I could keep going if I want. I won't, just because you've not got all the time in the world, and I don't think you find that very interesting either. So in this example, I'm going to be doing 2 director appointments, 1 resignation, an allotment, a transfer, and a distribution. So let's see what happens. This is a really great feature for people doing a lot at once, and it's just downloaded something onto my computer. So I'm going to show you now what that is. And please, I do apologize because you're going to very quickly see my entire screen. So if you just hold with me 1 second there, because I need to show you lots. So here's my entire screen. This is just downloaded. This folder is just downloaded onto my computer. So what we've got in this folder is the TM01 for the resignation I just did. We've got a stock transfer form for the stock transfer I just did, the transfer I just did. We've got some share certificates for those as well. We've got an SH01 for the allotment I did. A dividend certificate for the dividend distribution. We've got an APO1 for Mohammed. We've got an APO1 for Adam. And cherry on the cake here, 1 minute with absolutely everything in that you only need to get signed off once. So that is literally all of that has downloaded onto my computer. I can actually zip this up and send it off as a perfectly client-friendly pack, ready to go off to my clients. And then, of course, I'm just going to stop sharing and just go back to sharing my other screen very quickly now. Here we go. All of that will have changed on the software as well. So now if I go to my filing center, all of a sudden I've got PSCs, So like if I go actually to my connections page first, I look at my current shareholders, it's just the example trust. We've got all the share allotments, the share transfer that happened has gone in. The PSC register changed now, and it's just Rosie that's got the trustee with all of the 75% or more of the shares in the company now. And that's all gone into my filing center as well, ready to file at Companies House. So I can just get signed off once. That gets saved into my cloud library, ABC Quick Steps Minutes. I can actually just upload additional documents if I want. I can upload the signed document once I've got it signed. So all of that has kind of happened in that one quick step. So obviously that's a really exciting new feature under there. We've got things like the register center. So you could say, oh, I just want a register of members, for example, or you could say, actually, I want every register which has entries, make registers. Sorry, hopefully you can see that screen now. And that's how these are our registers. Here, I'm just going to go back to this screen. So you've got this screen here. Hopefully you've been able to see all of the screens that have kind of opened up. I've just noticed that you might not have been able to see FCLS's website, which I did click onto, but I'll carry on here anyway. So you've got, that's all of those changes have been made there. You've got the registers. You can look at history on Companies House, history on the software. Now I'm going to quickly move over, and I've shown you a bit about how the minutes, if you're just doing a minute for one thing, it knows that you've done that already. So it knows recently I, appointed Mohammed as a director. Document types, and it's basically pre-populated. Let me just close some of these tabs I've got open now. You sort of change the meeting location if you wish. Click next. Who's in attendance, apologies for absence, etc. Any sort of conflicts. Click next and make documents. Every time you make documents, they download onto your computer, and they also get saved into your cloud library as well. So now I'm just going to go on and show you CS01s. Really, really important part of why you guys are probably here. So we did a bit of research at the beginning to say, right, how are people getting the authority to file a CS01? Some people were attaching registers to email. Some people were writing out. Some people were just attaching the CS01 form. The CS01 form is a Companies House computer programming form. It's not really supposed to be, client friendly. It's just supposed to be a form that's read by the computers basically at Companies House. So we created something called the client checklist. So if I go filing CS01, now if I've already got authority to file a CS01, it's actually 2 clicks to file a CS01. So you just go CS01, submit. 2 clicks to file a CS01. You can click for a no change if you wish, and you press submit. So our checklist, CS01 client checklist. I'm going to show checklist. So this is our client checklist. You can put your own logo at the top here, so it's branded to your practice, and it's got everything in about that company all pre-populated. It's asking that this is when you need to return it back to us, and it's got these boxes where people can put in changes as well. So keep going down. With directors, it's got the goodwill statement of saying, you don't need to have your full residential address at Companies House. It sounds silly, but people can read through this and say, actually, they've actually moved address. So I'm just going to put that into here. So if I keep going down, it's got all the information in about a company. And at the bottom, they can then sign it, date it. It tells them who created it, at what time, who to go back to with questions. So this was amazing. People loved this. They would just download it, attach it to an email and send it off. And download it encrypted if they wish. So that was the first part. And we thought, well, wouldn't it be great if actually you could just get this to email your clients directly? So you click here and it will actually then send this email to your clients. Hi, Frederick, your CS01 is due by this date. Please, can you click the button below? So at the moment, the way that this works is that it gets sent to officers. So we hold a lot of private information about our officers. We hold their date of birth. We hold their residential addresses. So ask them 2 questions, for example, what year were you born in and what are the last 3 digits of your postcode? So they have to answer 2 questions and they go through to an online version of the checklist. Now, this is mobile phone friendly. It's tablet friendly. Your client can be on the train on the way to work. They could get this email through. They could click that button. they'll be able to see the client checklist. They'll say, right, either approve, or they'll just type in any changes and press send changes. Once they've done that, you can then monitor this under email and responses. So this is what you'll start to see. This one's been sent to the client. This one, the client's requested some changes. You can view them. This one's a successful login, but they haven't actually done anything. When they've approved it, you can actually click and submit it straight through here. So this has been massively popular, obviously, a really great way. The next stage, we thought, well, actually, we know when all of the CS01s are due. So why don't we have the option that the software will automatically email these CS01 checklists to the client, say 30 days before they're due. So you can come here, you can say, right, I do not want you to send the client checklist, or automatically send it, say 30 days before the CS01 is due. You can choose about reminder emails. So this is a new feature. It's in about probably phase 3 of what will probably be 8 features of advancing. So at the moment, you do need to sort of monitor what's going on. This is going to let you know if any emails bounce. You can say, do not automatically send the CS01. The furthest automation you can go with this is that if they approve it, you can have it that it automatically submits the CS01 only if they approve the checklist to Companies House. You don't have to do that. A lot of people who start using this tool actually use the kind of medium ground, which is queue the checklist emails for manual approval. So it's not sending the checklists, but it's not automatically sending them. What it's doing is, if you choose that and you come here, it starts queuing up all of the checklists that are ready to go, that need to go out, but you have to press send yourself. And that just gives you the opportunity to go and check that you're happy that the software's up to date before it emails the client the checklist. So that's a really popular feature for people first coming on board. You can also then say, right, well, actually, I'm loving this. And you can have individual company settings. So say you set your default as automatically send the CS01s, but you say, right, this company here, they're constantly changing. So I'm going to say queue this one up. I want to check this one before it goes out. This company here, they're a little bit more traditional. I speak to them on the phone a lot. I don't think they'd like this. I think I'm going to say do not send. So you can very much set this up on a company by company basis as well, depending on how well you know those individual clients. Again, if you've set your default as queue up, you might really be enjoying that, but you might be like, well, this company here, they never change. I'm going to auto send that one. So you can very much work it for what works for you. As I say, if you are ready, you just go CS01, and you click submit. So the last thing I wanted to show you, obviously with a person has the details of the connected companies page as well. So let's not use the trust as an example. Let's use an actual person, Rosie here. So in the connected companies, Rosie's just connected to ABC Accountants. If I wanted to change her details, so you've got this sort of like, you can print and export all of whether an officer, share transactions, dividends. And if I go to details for this person, it's the same thing as the details page for a company. All these date of changes trigger forms. Unfortunately, with this example, I can't show you because she's only attached to one company, how that multi-filing center would work. But if she was attached to a lot of companies and I changed her address, all of a sudden, all the CH01s and the PSCs that are needed for her are going to all be together, and I can just file them across all the companies. Finally, I'm just going to show you something called our Resolve Duplicate People tool. So Companies House have quite a big legacy issue with duplicates, in that if you file, say, 1 year, you say, right, Henry Miller, and the next year the accountant files Henry James Miller, for example, they're going to make a duplicate profile. Any anomaly in any of it, they're going to make a duplicate profile. So actually, there's quite a lot of problems with this, and they've known about that for ages. This is a tool where actually you can have your duplicates. It starts grouping people it thinks are duplicates. There's not many on this demo account because they've all been cleared up. But basically it means you can start merging them together. You get better quality data at Companies House. It also, with the ECCTA in future, they want to do ID checks against all directors around 2025. Now, we haven't spoken to Companies House about this in detail, so this is speculation, but I don't really see how they're going to be able to continue to sort of let these duplicate profiles continue for directors. So I think this tool during that time is probably become more. I can't say for sure, but it does feel that way. So you've got everything here. I've shown you the cloud library. gone through everything. I think actually now, Ash, this is probably a really good time to stop and see if there are any questions.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Abby. Very detailed. We've got a couple questions. So one of them was regarding the ability to change the registered email address when filing the confirmation statement. Is that something that's possible?
Yeah, so in each company, you've got the details page. You would go over to the registered office, and then underneath here, you've got this registered email address. So you can either choose sort of main contact, second contact, the one that I started at the beginning, and then you can go through and do that as well.
Perfect. And just one more question from Thomas. It was regarding the email features that you was talking about. Do you have an idea of when that would be available?
It is available. It's been available for a year. So when I say it's in phase 3 of its release, we always release big features like this in phases, because it just means you benefit them before they're at their most advanced phase. So as I mentioned, at the moment, we have to have the residential address and the date of birth of anyone we send it to. So obviously with officers, we've already got that. Companies House have already given us that information when we did the upload. But if you want to send it to a director's PA, you'll have to ask the PA for their date of birth and residential address for password reasons. So that's one reason. The other thing is, at the moment, it automatically sends reminder emails if they don't reply, but there isn't a button that says remind. So what I'm saying is it's live. It's lots of people are using it. More and more. This is not how, at the moment, it's not at what we see as a finished tool. It's there's things like with the changes, you can view the changes, but at the moment you have to go and make the changes yourself in the software. In one of the, I think not the next release, but the release after that, you'll just be able to click make changes and it will make those changes for you. So it's still massively time saving. One thing that I didn't mention is we did some research. It takes roughly on average 30 minutes a year to get authority to file a CS01 from one of your clients. So the average office hour is about £60 an hour. That's £30 a company. If you've got 50 companies, that's £1,500 of office hours spent. If you've got 100 companies, that's £3,000 of office hours spent. If you've got 500, I can't do that quick maths, but take however many companies you've got, times it by 30, and that's roughly how much of money you're spending a year just on getting authority in work hours. It's not an effective use of time and money, and that's why we want a tool which just cuts that out for you, so you save that time and money, and you can put that towards better use of your own time. Because we are very, very aware that no one makes money out of doing laborious CoSec tasks. There are other things you can spend your time doing, which is going to be more profitable for your business and just a better use of your time. So that's why so many of our tools are really, really focused on, right, our development meetings are how can we cut out certain jobs for people so that everything is so much faster. So it is live. You can very much use it, but it's only going to keep advancing, as with everything. We've got a really, really strong development team here, and we're constantly trying to figure out ways that we can help save you guys time, basically.
Just had another question. Just if we could just have another explanation on the RP04.
Yeah, sure. So the RP04 form is, I mean, we've got, I work on the support lines as well. So every now and then you'll get someone that says, oh, we've just brought on this client and there was something that was filed incorrectly in the past. The RP04 basically gets rid of that. So you would say like the date of the registration, say it was a say it was a PSCO4 form that was PSCO1 form that was put in a few years ago. You'd put the date that happened, or the form actually happened. You'd describe the document. So PSCO1 for Andrew with incorrect, I don't know, what a description. You can then preview the form. You can download it encrypted. And basically, what that it used to be that you could only post this form to Companies House. You might be able to. So during the pandemic, Companies House said a lot of the forms that you used to only be able to post, you could put on their portal. With our software, you can always download any forms as long as you put the change in the details page first. So I made an SH01 earlier. It knows about it. You can always preview and download them. So with the RPO4 here, you can then preview it, download it. That means that you can then resubmit the form backdated that it was supposed to be. So you're correcting. So it's a really useful form that people absolutely love. If they've either brought in a client or they've spotted a mistake, you've got the option to use the RPO4. What I would say is that on our support phone line here, we are, which I don't think I was using this webinar tool very well, in that you don't think you saw this screen before. I was just talking, but here, our phone number and email address, we can give you software support. We're trained in how the software works, but we couldn't give you legal guidance. That's why we've got the legal pack service as well. So if you've got a question about, do I need to file the RPO4 or do I need to file a PSCs07, you would use the legal pack service to ask that question, because they'll give you that legal advice. So I can't say, right, you can definitely use the RPO4 for everything, but you know, it's a really great form if you are, to be able to use to correct previous mistakes.
Perfect. I don't think we have any other questions, but yeah, thank you very much for that demonstration, Abby. It's very detailed. As Abby's mentioned, it's a really useful tool, obviously, because if you do use it correct, we've had a lot of sort of at events and stuff, Capium clients that sort of mentioned to us that once they get it, it's really worth it, because obviously, it prevents you sort of from paying fines or anything like that. So it does sort of pay its value, if you do get it. Do you have so obviously the support line, then I'm guessing if anybody did have any more questions or anything, they'd be able to reach out for any sort of help.
Exactly. If you've got any questions at all, this is our email address, this is our telephone number. We're more than happy to help.
Perfect. Well, yeah, and I think everybody should be getting a recording of this session as well, so you'd be able to watch it again, which should be helpful if you do need to go over it. But yeah, thank you very much, Abby. Do we have a current update on Capium Support Centre? Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day.